Hi guys, happy Friday. You made it another week of this crazy, crazy year. Also, my father-in-law's birthday. So after this fun Instagram live, we are going to be heading off to celebrate this amazing man. But first, I wanted to get you into the weekend with a really, really awesome guest who happens to also be the new host of the syndicated show, The Doctors. He is a best-selling author. He's an incredible human, and he is a friend of our show. Dr. Ian Smith has just been such a fun person to interview all throughout the years. And now that he is hosting this new show, this is the one medium that he has yet to host by himself and no doubt will crush. So waiting for him to join in. But in the meantime, this is also a really, really awesome opportunity for all of you to ask questions of him. Obviously, he is also a doctor. So right now there are so many things on people's minds when it comes to how to stay healthy, how to get healthy. He is the author of all of the Shred books. If you've read them, they're wildly popular. Clean and Lean is his latest bestseller. Almost every single book that he has done has made it to the bestseller list because he's crazy brilliant. And so I am just, let me see here, if I can add him in. Here we go. Let's see. So make sure you have any questions and ask them right in that little card with the question mark button. And I will make sure that he gets to all of them. But let me see here. Okay, so let's see here. He is just about joining. Hi, Deanna. How are you? Here he is. Hey, Ian. There he is. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
Good. I was explaining to everybody, obviously one of the reasons I wanted to have you on was because you have this incredible new show, new hosting gig on The Doctors, the wildly successful syndicated show. But we know each other so much from your books, and every which one of them has been a bestseller. The Shred Diet, Clean and Lean. I mean, what has it been like for you to get into this completely different world of hosting your own show, especially in a time where everybody is trying to figure out how to even put a show on the air?
Well, you're a very successful host, so I'm following in your footsteps. Uh, it's very different being a guest on someone's show and actually being the person. And we're already filming shows. We've filmed 12 already, actually. We premiere September 21st. But when you go on set and you realize that everything is kind of like comes through you, like, you know, do you want this? How about this? How about that? And it's all you and the EP. But it's cool. It's fun. It's exciting. It's challenging in a good way. I love challenges. And I like to always improve and be better. So it's like something new that I can try to like really hone my skills and craft my skills. And so it's great. But it's also the other part of it is that I have such a full life and I'm so grateful for my life that I'm not overwhelmed by it because I'm balanced. I have a great family. Like you said, I'm writing books. I have a new book that just got selected on Amazon first reads as the thriller selection this month. So I'm excited about that. Just all kinds of stuff. So I just try to keep balance. By the way, I love your hair. Your hair looks awesome. Jeez.
You're so sweet. Ian, you've been such an inspiration in the many years that I've been interviewing. Your positivity and your outlook on your family has always been something that I've drawn upon as I've ventured out into different things. Even doing something like this, it's totally out of my wheelhouse. I'm used to hosting my show, and you're such an awesome inspiration to so many people, especially in the health and wellness space. I think every single one of your book ends up being a bestseller. You have a way of speaking to people in a way that they know how to take care of themselves. And I think right now I actually have a segment coming up of an anchor who just gained a lot of weight in COVID. She went really into a dark place. She losing it, doing 80-day obsession, but you have so many programs that people can turn to if they're looking for that turn and how to get their life back.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I think my real motivator is because I understand the finality of death, believe it or not. Sounds kind of macabre, but when you appreciate that all of us will die, when you appreciate that our death is uncertain, we don't know when it's going to happen, I always try to keep that in the back of my mind, not because I'm this kind of sick guy, but it's because it makes me appreciate every moment even more. And it helps me when I'm at a fork in the road of like, I'm upset at something, do I go off? Or do I just say, you know what, let it go. It's not worth it in the larger scheme of things. I don't always make the right choice at that fork, by the way, but I really do try to say, in the grand scheme of things, like, for example, I was buying this car from this guy, this salesman, and, we're negotiating back and forth. I love negotiating. We're back and forth. We're back. I just want to get it off the lot. And I just said to him, I said, really? It's that transactional? Like, don't be so transactional.
You're
Like, let's have some.
your car salesman.
Yes. He was stunned, by the way, stunned that I was having this conversation. First of all, I was there. I was dressed like a regular dude. I'm this black dude kind of in sports gear. And I just said to him, I said, try to like have purpose. Like, I know we're just like buying and selling a car, but like, you got to live your life with purpose because it feels good when you have purpose. And so my way of looking at it is you made a sale, I made an acquisition. I'm going to use this. It's going to be important. It's going to be with me for a long time. And you can say that, he didn't know who I was, by the way. He has no idea anything about my life other than my name is Ian. Okay. Because I don't, I'm like you. I don't tell people what I do for a living, but I just felt like in that moment, I wasn't trying to preach to him, but I really wanted to connect with him and say, kind of, your life is more than just moving units out of the door as a car salesman, right? If you look at it just that way, it becomes a very vacuous kind of existence. Instead, think about what value you're bringing to your customer, to your dealership, to yourself. So I try to keep a positive frame of mind, and especially now, by the way, Lynn, with all this stuff that's going on, and COVID and racial injustice and all this stuff, I just really try to be positive.
And, someone's actually chiming in here in comments just saying that you provide this platform where there's community support and it's inclusive to all. And when you talk about everything that's happening in the world and how much divisiveness that there is right now, it's your platform and it's the community that you create that gives people that place to go to feel welcome. And for people that may not know where to go and what you do and those communities that you have, can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, well, first of all, obviously Instagram is a big platform for me. The Doctors TV show is going to be great. Follow them at the Doctors TV or go to thedoctorstv.com. Also on Facebook, Ian K. Smith, MD. I have a big Facebook group. In fact, I take all my books and we have a community. So my biggest group, you mentioned my book, Clean and Lean. So we have a group called Cleaner, Get Leaner on Facebook. We have about 30,000 people in it. So if you want to join a group of like-minded people trying to lose weight, it's great. But let me say this, the show we're going to do this season, they asked me to, I'm the new host, I'm the only host. First time they ever had a single host on the show. They always had a panel. And they said, well, what kind of show do you want to do? The kind of show I want to do is a show for the people, right? And people know that I talk to and try to help people of all walks of life, of all races, of all religious backgrounds. It doesn't matter to me, of all ages. I really try to treat everybody with respect and embrace them. And it's not about politics. It's about really helping people live their best life. I know it sounds kind of cliche, but it goes back to my earlier point, which is even if you and I disagree with each other, I want you to maximize your life because you don't know how long you're going to be here, right? And so I don't want to be one of those negative guys who's out there always spouting and yelling and screaming. That's just not me. Instead, I'm the kind of guy where you hit me up in a DM and say, hey, Dr. Ian, I'm trying to lose 15 pounds or I hurt my knee. What can I do? I don't look at your page and see your political rants. I just treat you as you're a human being trying to do better. And I think that's been my formula. Just treat everybody fairly and equally. And it's really hard for me during this huge divisiveness in our country to see it like this, because this isn't the America that I read about in books. This isn't the America that I love. I love my country. When I go away overseas, I travel a lot. When I come home, it's always great to come home, no matter how much fun you had abroad. But I'm really sad that we are going at each other like we are. And why? What's the end point to all of this? You know what I mean? Like, we're going to have differences of opinion, which is fine. We're going to have political differences, fine. But to the point that we are trying to hurt each other and we're fellow Americans, that this is a very sad moment, I think, in our country's history. We're going to get through this, right, Lynn? We will. But I just think it's very sad for us.
Ian, getting into journalism, I have always been a purist, and that's been something that's been really hard for me and devastating for me to see this frustration of like screaming and yelling, and that's what people are tuning into. And I don't believe that that's true. I hear from too many people who are saying, I don't want to see people arguing all the time. I don't want to see people screaming about which side they agree with or disagree with. They want people like you. Live your life with purpose. Motivate other people. Find things. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are, or anything that you associate yourself with other than just being a good person. And I think that's why I think your show is going to be incredibly successful. And that's why I think right now the world needs more Ian Smiths on television. But tell me what kind of topics you're going to be tackling. I mean, the show's called The Doctors. So clearly you're going to get all into medicine and all of that. But you also seem to be really getting into social issues also.
Well, it's going to be a bigger show than medicine, right? So we're going to talk about wellness. We're going to talk about spirituality, not like religious spirituality, but more like being in tune with yourself, in tune with your environment. We're going to have a book club, by the way, which I'm excited about. And we're going to read fiction and books that we can escape to. We need escapism in our world right now. So we're going to read great thrillers and mysteries and all kinds of stuff. And we're going to have comedians on who are going to bring some levity to the situation. Oh, and I created this segment called The Pivot. And The Pivot is a franchise segment where we interview people who have made a pivot in their lives for some reason, whether it's health, whether it's because of COVID-19, they had to make a pivot. And we just had on the makeup icon, Bobbi Brown, who talked about her pivot and what she's doing now. And so the show's going to be different. It's going to be a lot of segments that are human interest segments, good storytelling, Lynn. I think the premise for any good show is good storytelling. And it doesn't always have to be surgery and, what the best medications are. Though we'll do some of that, of course, with the doctors, but we're going to go bigger than that.
Yeah, and someone chiming in here just saying this is more example of people handling negativity in a positive way. And that's what I think is the only way to handle 2020. I mean, I say all the time, you can't control what's happening right now. You can control how you react to it. And when you talk about that segment pivot, that is everything that I've been saying since 2020 began. This is an incredible opportunity for people to go into so many different spaces. I mean, for you, this is the first time you're solo hosting a show, and it's one of the most difficult times in the country. I mean, for you, how difficult is that to just have that weight on your shoulders? I know there's a positive there, but what is your goal at the end of this year once you have this show on the air for a while?
First of all, hello, Rosemary from Phoenix. She's one of my admins in one of my groups. Actually, we talked about my group. She's one of my admins. I feel very comfortable. I'm not nervous. I feel like there's a huge void in the country right now of a show with a voice that's calming, that's scientifically based, that is not political, that is inspirational, and yet not too serious. And so I feel like there's a big void that I can fill and the show can fill. I keep saying, it's not me. Geez, you know this. I have a great production team, producers in LA, producers in New York, and these guys work every day to put the best content up there. And so we're going to have a really great show of content. And our goal is that every time you come to our show, I want you to leave feeling like there's something you learned that can help improve your life. That's our goal every show. It may be something really small, but something you learn that you can make a change in your life right away. That was my challenge to my producers, this, when you're doing segments and shows, think about this. What is the takeaway? If we're going to talk about masks and what's a good let's think about what do we want people to know with it from the mask segment. What can they do right away? So we're going to do a segment on how to test to see if your mask passed a certain test, if it's good or not. So that's kind of the mindset. And I think that, yeah, it's a difficult time, but the country needs this, Lynn, right? The country is looking for answers, and we are not going to have all the answers, but at least we're going to help the country sift through what's out there.
There's something that I really hope that you're going into a lot, because right now I think that it's what's happening most, or sadly, most prevalent in the country. It's mental illness, and especially in COVID, we're seeing triple the numbers when it comes to depression. We're seeing a 10% increase in suicide. This is just, first, for anyone out there that is watching this, there is so much help out there, even if you're scared to ask. And I know that this is something that I've done a lot of stories on, Ian, when it comes to the African-American community and mental illness. It is a conversation that a lot of times historically they don't want to have. And my executive producer, who's African-American, she challenged me to do a lot of segments on this as well. Something I didn't know. And it really was fascinating to me to dig deeper into that.
Yeah, the stigma of mental illness is really sad because it really prevents people from seeking the help and the support that is so available, and that is life-saving. There's so many people who have either taken their own lives or who lead very difficult existences because they're afraid to admit that they have mental illness, or they don't recognize it. And family members or friends are afraid to say to them, hey, maybe you want to talk to somebody. And so on the show this season, we're going to do a lot of mental health. For sure, COVID, unfortunately, has complicated mental health or exacerbated it for a lot of people. When you look at African Americans, by the way, it's a huge stigma. It's a cultural thing. And I'm not saying only African Americans have mental health issues. Everyone does, right?
Yes.
But African Americans historically are less likely to seek help. They're less likely to open up about their mental illness. And I think that's really sad. So we're going to talk to a wide array of people and therapists and doctors and experts to try to let people know it's okay to be different, because we're all different, right? In fact, I'm working with a group called Hope for the Day, which is supported by the company Hope Food, which is a great company. Hope Food, they make a lot of hummus and dips and stuff like that. But they have this arm that they work with called Hope for the Day. And it's about mental illness and spreading awareness and getting people help. And by the way, Lynn, sometimes people just need to talk to somebody. Like I tell people all the time, hey, just talk to me. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychotherapist, but I can listen, right? Sometimes people just want you to listen to them. And so we want to do a lot of listening and guide people to the right resources.
It's almost impossible to stay out of politics if you're in TV. I try as hard as I can on headline news. It's like, I don't want to do politics. They're like, you can't avoid doing politics. I was like, but you just can't win. And just nothing that you can do. How are you going to tackle that?
Well, we're lucky in the sense of we don't have guests like you, live shows where the guests can go anywhere they want. Our show is taped, and kind of we pre-interview our guests. And it's not that I'm afraid of politics. Politics is a way of life, by the way. It's that I think that we tend to over-politicize things in this country. For example, masks are apolitical. The virus is not political. It's a virus. It kills people. It's not what side of the aisle you're on as to whether it kills people. It's a scientific fact. So, our decision was we're going to stay out of politics. Like you said, it's hard to stay out of politics. Will a segment every once in a while maybe have some political undertones or overtones? Maybe. But I want to stay like this, right? Because I don't want people to tune out. And by the way, there are plenty of political shows on air right now,
That's covered.
Yeah, it's covered. You don't need me to cover it, right? You can get that on all up and down the dial. With me, I want to give you really solid information that's well vetted and well researched and doesn't have a political bent on it. And I want you to come to me on the doctors for that information.
It is going to be finally something refreshing on television where positivity wins, and we need so much more of that in this country. Dr. Ian Smith, Tell us when it premieres, where people can see it, everything that they.
Yes, it premieres September 21st, so please check your local listing. That'd be great. Send me DMs if you have topics to my Instagram that you want to hear. Go to the Doctor's TV. We're going to have a fun website with my playlist is going to be on the website, book club. It's just going to be an event. Oh, also, by the way, if you read mysteries, here's my mystery. It's called The Unspoken. You can get it right now. Amazon has selected it as the thriller of the month for first reads. It's $1.99, so it's $2. So please go check it out and let me know if you like it or not. It's a great thriller in the city of Chicago. So anyway, that's it. And we're gonna have you on, Lynn. I'd love to have my friends on.
I would love to be on, but I'm just so inspired by you. From the moment I met you in our first segment when we were like making smoothies in the headline news kitchen, you've also been a great friend to me and given me advice career-wise and done so much. So I just really appreciate you, and I am wishing you all the very best, my friend. But I know you don't need it because you've got this.
You always need it. Hey, do me a favor. Stay safe. Enjoy your family. And I love you, and we'll talk soon.
You too.
All right, see you.
Labor Day.
Okay. See you.